Two, one.
Talk about it. Let's talk about it. Talk about it. Pour up a cup and vibe on. Boss Lady Star is on. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
You are now tuned in to Boss Lady Star.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for being here tonight, this Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern. I am your host, Boss Lady, the Boss Lady Star. Tonight's conversations, of course, we're sticking with relationship. Last week, thank you guys that joined. Last week, we talked about getting to know your partner. So that was a very fun conversation. I enjoyed it, and I think the people that came through last week, I think they enjoyed it as well. This week, we're talking about relationships. We're talking about friends and exes. That's what we're talking about this week. So you guys can, tune in the comments. The people that are watching on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, I appreciate you guys as well. You guys feel free to give some feedback. Like I said in the comments, a lot of people was looking on YouTube last week and they was commenting away and it was, you didn't see my comments. And I'm like, yeah, because I was live on TikTok. But, I have to get this streaming thing down where I'm able to stream. I'm streaming on StreamYard, but StreamYard, I have like, Instagram. No, Instagram is messing up too. Hey, Law, thank you. Instagram is messing up as well on there on the StreamYard. But I do go, I have Facebook and I have Twitter and YouTube. So those are live over there and they're able to watch it. Thank you, sis. They're able to watch it because I am cross streaming my other device to that device. And then that way they're able to see. So they can see the comments and everything else that's coming through. But as far as me seeing what they're doing on their end, I can't see it until after I'm done the live. However, thank y'all for being here. Like I said, we're going to keep it to an hour. I had a little bit of issues getting started, but we in the building now. So I just had my intro on. I will do a commercial at like 6:30-ish. That'll be the commercial for CTR Media Network. So they are the people that help power the system. And like I said, back on topic, this week's relationship conversation is about friends and exes. So like I said, feel free to give tips or suggestions or anything. I'm going to speak my mind and my piece about it. And then people can say how they feel. And if you want to get on the live, just make sure you send me a request and then we'll go from there. So let's jump into it. So hopefully you guys poured up your cup. Mine's over here. I'm trying to keep refrain from bending in and out the camera. So I'm trying to make sure I can talk to you guys directly, and that way it's going to be a good stream over there on the other platforms. So all I ask is if you do have something to say, just put it in the comments that you want to join, and then I'll join, because I don't want to accept people into the live and they're trying to do a battle, and I don't want to accept people into the live that are not wanting to talk about the topic at hand. So the topic this week, once again, is friends and exes. So some people don't feel the way I feel as far as people being friends with their exes. I think there's limitations to everything, but at the same time, if you've been friends with these people that you dated long ago, I don't see where it should be an issue. However, when you start dating somebody new, it's like, okay, how long does it take before you sit there and include or sit there and talk about, hey, this is the person I used to date before, and they're still a friend of the family, and they're still a friend of me, and so on and so forth. I think it's very important because we talked about last week about time and getting to know people and how long does it take before you introduce them to your immediate family, to your friends, so on and so forth. So it does take time for that. It's absolutely right. But when you've gotten to that comfortable area, some people do it sooner than later. But my question is to y'all, how do you guys feel about that? Having friends as exes or exes that are your friends? Or if you have a significant other and, they have like those work wives or those work husbands or whatever, do you introduce them to your spouse? Do you introduce them to your mate? I know in the military, that was like the regular thing. Like somebody worked with somebody else, that's their work husband, that's their work wife. Even when I worked for the government after I left the military, it was the same thing. It was like, oh, that's so-and-so's work wife or that's so-and-so's work husband. if somebody claimed to be my work husband, I made sure I introduced them to my spouse because I want no funny mess going on. And there was not going to be no thought in that person's head like, oh yeah, I really am her. No, I have a whole husband. This is my spouse. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I did. I just chose, I took it upon myself to go ahead and introduce my work husband or my work wife or whoever to whoever I'm dating because I want them to feel comfortable. Or if I'm home talking about, oh yeah, when I was at work, ABC said such and such and CDF said such and such, and they just looking around because they don't know they don't know who I'm talking about. Hey, what's going on? They don't know who I'm talking about. And so they're probably like, oh, well, I don't know who that person is. And they just listen to the conversation. But if you introduce, your spouse or your significant others to the people that you work with, or people that are important to you, like especially at work, you have your circle of friends at work. I introduced my spouse and my significant to my circle of friends. Something happened to me, he'd be like, "Oh, let me get in contact with so and so because I know she might know where that person is," or whatever the case may be. But just keeping everything on the open, and on the up and up. And I think that's important. So when you build those types of friendships and those type of relationships, and then let's say you break up or you guys get divorced or whatever. I've seen so many different divorces in my time. It's just like mind blowing. But especially being in the military, I've seen a lot of that, people getting divorced. Hey, Sheila, welcome in. I see a lot of people that would get divorced. And, I'll just be like, wow, well, how are they going to split up? It's not about splitting up the friends because they got into a relationship. They had their friends. They were established. Everybody knew each other. And then they get divorced. And it's like, okay, who do we stay friends with? It's like for us, it was easy. It was like, okay, we're gonna stay friends with both of them. We just make sure one's not uncomfortable and the other one's not uncomfortable. We would invite them to different events until we talked to them and they said, oh, well, I don't mind being around so and so, or we have a good friendship, even though we're not together anymore. And that's important too. I think it's very important to establish that. It's either breaking up and like not being friends at all anymore and not communicating at all. There's like no in between, or there's we have kids, there's that. And then there's, oh no, we understood we weren't good together, but we were better as friends. And I think that if you understand that importance of friendships, then it could be established where, no, we're not together. We're better off as friends. And, if you start dating somebody new, you could say, hey, this is so-and-so. Like what I've learned over these 44 years is I don't come out straight off and say, oh, this is so-and-so my ex, especially with somebody brand new, because they don't know how to handle that. They don't know how to take it or receive it. So I'll just be like, oh, this is so-and-so, what I'm saying? This is XYZ, this is ABC, that's the new person. So, and then we'll talk. And then later on down the road, I'll explain, yeah, we used to date back in the day. We used to date like 20 years ago. We used to date 10 years ago, whatever. So, but I'll have that conversation with them so that they're aware and they're not sitting there looking at that person like, oh, okay, yeah, they cool. I ain't got nothing to worry about. And they really don't have nothing to worry about because I know how to carry on with myself and my friendships. So they don't have nothing to worry about. However, just to make sure my mate is comfortable, I make sure I have that discussion with them, just to let them know. But let me see what you said. Definitely. What's up, Mel? Welcome in. Definitely all based on how breakup. Yes, that's true. It's how the breakups are. And because there's some I can be cordial with and some I could. Yeah, right. Absolutely. So an ex is an ex for a reason. I hear you. I hear you, Daryl. An ex is an ex for a reason. And that could be that's what I'm saying. So that's why I like to get the feedback. So it's cool about an ex being an ex. That's absolutely fine. But like if you guys broke up on good terms, people like, how do you break up on good terms? If you break up and you're not fighting, yelling, screaming, nobody had to go to jail over no restraining orders, nothing like that. Like you guys just was like, look, you know what? You were so cool. We started dating, but this is really not, what I'm saying? Who sings that music? I think it's Music Soul Child. What song was it? I think Crazy Out My Mind or something like that. That was like the perfect song. Miss Parker. I am not Miss Parker, but okay, maybe talk to somebody on the street. Anyways, yeah. So that song, he was like, yeah, they started off as good friends, just hanging out, chilling, and then they took it over that line. And when they took it over that line, it messed up their friendship, and then it was like more of a strain than it was. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like, this is not what I expected, or maybe one person wanted more out the relationship than the other. but it was a perfect song for what we're talking about, because you could still be friends after that. You know, you're like, okay, it just didn't work out. But if it's a situation where, you know, like there was hands thrown, or you know, it was like way before your time, like I just never talk to that person again, that's something different too. But let me see what y'all got to say in the comments. Like I said before, hey, Mr. Bob West, are you trying to join? We're having a discussion about relationships. So if you guys want to jump in and have something to say about relationship, you're more than welcome. Just be like, hey, I want to jump in the box and send an invite, and I'll bring you up. But as far as just jumping on saying hello, that's not this time or this hour. And if you want, you can put your information in the comments, like people are doing their comments in here. I don't mind being friends. I definitely break up on good terms. See, yeah, that's what I do too. I do that. Yeah, that's fine. But let's see, that's true too. It is very rare. And it seems like to me, after the conversations I've had with other people, I'm not trying to turn off my invites, because I do want people to jump in and say what they got to say. But if I'm gonna keep on getting this invite over and over again, I'm gonna have to turn my invites off, and I'm trying to do those. Thank you, appreciate it. So I appreciate that. So yes, it is. It definitely depends on how the breakup is. And then like I don't sit there and try to run to them, be like, oh, okay, it didn't work, but you know, can we please be friends? I don't do that. I give it its time, because like we talked about last week, timing is very important. So for me, it's very easy for me to be like, okay, you know, I'm not gonna, beat them up about this, and I'm not gonna sit there and try to make them be my friend. But if it comes full circle and they be like, hey, I ain't seen you in a while, how you been? And then we just have a conversation, then that's fine. I'm cool with that. And we don't have to be like we're best of friends, but at least I know, I know them and they know who I am. So I just try to keep it in that area. And I definitely make sure, like, if somebody did move on and they do have another spouse or a new girlfriend or whatever, whoever they're dating at that time, I make sure I talk about that too, because I don't want to be somebody's friend in a relationship with somebody that's married, but the spouse doesn't know who I am. You telling me, oh, you can call me anytime, any day, and this and that. And I'm like, okay, cool. So if I hit you up, I'm not normally one to hit somebody up late because I'm a night owl. But if I happen to get up and I'm trying to have a conversation with my friend, then I should be able to call my friend at any time, like they can call me at any time. So if I'm calling you and you're my friend, then if you have a spouse, your wife should know that I'm your friend too. And I'm just a friend. If you have a girlfriend and your girlfriend doesn't know of me, your girlfriend probably should know who I am because I'm your friend. There's nothing going beyond that. It's not nothing where it's sexual or anything like that. It's strictly on some friendship, but that has to be established. You know what I'm saying? So I think that if you've dated that person, people are like, oh, well, if you dated them, you shouldn't be talking to them that often anyways. It depends, again, how you guys broke up. You can break up and be like, oh, okay, well, we're going to hang out next week. All right, see you next week. I'll meet you at the spot. You know what I'm saying? And it's on some, hey, we want to chill when we out, but that's all it's going to be. And you try not to mix the two together, you know what I'm saying? The business and the pleasure. Because you try to be friends with people and they were like, remember when we used to, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So yeah, you have to make sure you keep them borders, and them blueprints out. Like, look, we're friends and that's all we are, and we're gonna keep it there. Let me go back real quick. Exactly right. No break. Yeah, definitely not a break. Well, as far as break, so that's a whole nother topic. But we could talk about it briefly. So as far as breakups or breaks, not breaks, but breaks. If you have a break with your significant other, because you don't have a break when you're married. Some people do take breaks. I'm not going to say that because they'd be like, oh, you get a pass. Like, you do whatever. You go on out there for the weekend. I do this right now. I need my time to myself. I've heard those conversations before. So it does happen. But when you're dating somebody, nothing's solidified until you guys are married, And then at the same time, I also have my own opinion as far as you don't have to be legally married to be married. Like, you just have it in your mind. Y'all have that conversation and y'all have to understand it. Of course, it's nice to have it in writing. And of course, it's nice to have a ring and all that good stuff. But if you have that mentality, you can be married without being physically married, via paper. But as far as breaks go, that's something that needs to be established too with communication. So if you're sitting there and you're telling somebody, like your loved one, somebody you head over heels about and you all in for, if you're telling that person, like, look, I'm frustrated and I can't even get my points across to you right now, I just need a break. That might be what they need, because mental health is important. So, and mental health is a whole nother topic as far as relationships go too. But I'm gonna keep on going with these comments. Or the spouse has an issue with me. True, absolutely. I'm gonna go back to that one too. Otherwise, they try and wait. I went too far too quick. Good evening. Good evening. Otherwise, they trying to hide it. Right. Absolutely right. Okay, and then welcome in. We're not doing breaks. Boy, bye. She said, boy, bye. My last one is a break. Sorry, it's a break. The fuck up. You wasting my time and my child. We aren't teens. That's true. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, so yeah, like I said, it depends on what you're taking a break for, what you got going on, and it has to be the discussion, within that relationship. Because some breaks work for some people, and some breaks don't work for other people. Some people are like, oh, I can take a break. We're gonna come back, and we're gonna be stronger than we ever was before. Then some people take breaks, and they just feel like we can't bounce back from this, especially if things were done on the break. So yeah, it just depends on the situation and depends on the people. So some people take breaks and be like, oh, this was great. I needed that jump start again. And that break might be what they need. Other people be like, no, it ain't happening. Like my sister said, we break up, that's it, it's a wrap. And that's fine too. Like I said, everybody has their own ways of handling things. But like I said, I really wanted to talk tonight about just like friends and exes, because it needs to be an open discussion within partners. And then just having like that understanding, like this is my friend, this is my person that I talk to and I can communicate with. I don't think that you have to talk to your friend all day, every day, throughout the whole day. I don't think that. But I mean, there's friends that do that. I'm not that friend. If you sitting there talking, I'm like, okay, I gotta go. Like we don't talk in circles. We don't say everything we had to say already. So yeah, we don't be talking in circles at this point. Break means that neither one of you truly wants to be the first to say goodbye. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. It could be that too. Like I said, it depends on the people in the relationship. So maybe one person does want to say goodbye. They want to take that one last chance to step out there and see, is there somebody else out there for me? And then they come back and be like, nah, that's it, she's the one, or vice versa. And we're like, nah, I thought maybe I'll find somebody else, but nah, I can't. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? So it could be either way. That's me. I don't want to talk all day, girl. Now, but now I'm talking about basically with friends though. So yeah, as far as my friends go, Mr. Babu, if you can hear me, because I know you keep trying to jump on here, I'm so sorry. That's not going to happen. Not today, because he probably wants to battle or he just wants to say hello. But I'm trying to finish this segment out. So, like I said, and I'm not trying to turn the invites off in case somebody wants to jump on here and say, their piece. And I have no problem with that. So you guys are more than welcome. Going forward, I will definitely have a designated panel, and I'll probably switch over to StreamYard so that I can give people codes, and then they can log in with their code, and then they'll be on the screen and be able to talk. But then I have to figure out how I'm going to include TikTok, because TikTok is not one of those functions that can go into StreamYard. So I'm going to get it together. We'll work it out. But anyways, yeah. So if you're starting off a brand new relationship, and this is just advice because I'm not a guru, I'm not no life coach or counselor. I'm a counselor, but not for relationships. Anyways, if you're starting off a relationship, it's just important. It's very, very important that you do talk to your spouse or your partner, because you're brand new, and say like, yeah, I do have male friends or I do have female friends, and I would love for you to meet my friends one day, because you're opening that other portion up of your life, or that other part of your life up, and allowing them in, and that's on both sides. So if it's just strictly a friendship, then it should be on some, hey, I want you to meet my friend. If you have an inkling in your mind, like, oh, one day this might go somewhere and I don't want my spouse to meet that, then maybe y'all should be those friends might get you in trouble or hemmed up, because one day you're thinking like, oh, I got my opportunity, I got my chance. Not saying you can't be their friends, but you can be friends where you can introduce them to your spouse, to your significant other. That's a little, you testing the waters right there, and it makes it a little bit difficult at times. I tell them everything. My mate needs to decide if they want to be a part of it. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, but I think it's important though. I think it's very important, especially when you're communicating with your significant other, just to be like, hey, these are my friends. These are people I chill with. when before you, this is who I used to rock with, and I'm still gonna rock with them, but I'm including you into my circle because we are this union. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you can introduce them. Ooh, I like that. Okay, come on, Milton, with the words. He said, "If I can't introduce them, I reduce them." Woo! I like that. Mm-mm. If you know, if you want to get with them, like that, then stay away from their significant other. True, but okay. See, now I'm glad you said what I just said too. Then you need to stay from the significant other or the boyfriend or the husband or the girlfriend or whatever. That's true. You do have to stay away from them. But are you still going to remain to be their friend? Privately texting, privately calling? Like, how do you handle that? If you like, okay, well, I know this person. How you doing, Rose Petal? If I know, like, okay, I know this person feeling me more than a friend. I already know. Like, hands down, like either they done said something to you or y'all done said something to each other, an inappropriate text or something. How do you go about, saying, well, we friends, but you can't meet my spouse, or we friends and I can't introduce you to my significant other because the way we talk. That means you're both being inappropriate. So you're keeping them away from your significant other because now it goes back to being a secret again. You know what I'm saying? So who wants to keep that secret going? Yeah, then that means y'all both involved in the secret at this point. I'm not gonna say nothing. You're not gonna say nothing. Everybody's just being quiet about it. But the elephant in the room is like, oh yeah, we feeling each other, but we can't take it there because that person got a spouse or that person got a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So yeah, it's very inappropriate, but it happens. It definitely happens. And so that's why I'm talking about it. Like as far as being friends, how do you guys go about doing that? How do you say, hey, this is my homegirl, this is my homeboy? How do you introduce them and keep them within your circle of being friends, not being inappropriate and not having that sexual thought in your head like, oh, this is what's going on? No, we're strictly friends, platonic. We just strictly friends and nothing more. That's exactly why when it's over, it's over. Goodbye. It can't can become confusing. Yeah, it could be. I'm doing pretty good. So I can see how you said it could be confusing, but I'm talking about somebody you dealt with as far as being an ex. So like that's two different things. You got your friend that's your friend, okay? Your friend that's your friends only. Then you have your friend that's your ex. Those are two different friends because one friend is a friend that you ain't never did nothing with. Y'all just strictly friends. Then you got the friend that's your ex, but y'all still friends. If y'all done did what y'all did, y'all not taking it there no more, but y'all still cool with each other, but you still want to be friends with them. Some people are cool with it. I'm cool with that. I'm all right with that. Like, I don't mind if somebody I'm dating and still talking to their friend that was their ex, as long as they're not taking it further than where it needs to go. Because if the phone's up, screen up, you ain't got nothing to hide, I'm walking by and then all of a sudden it's like, am I seeing you later? What you seeing her later for? What we doing? We going out on a double date? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what we doing? I'm trying to figure it out because everybody wants to know. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there has to be like those guidelines and those barriers and stuff. We're adults though. We have to still be appropriate. Absolutely. I could be attractive but show discipline. Okay. Oh, okay, Sheila, that's a good point too. Exactly. And she could be able to meet the spouse. Right, right. Ain't nobody that fine. I can't keep can't keep it platonic. Okay. You should close the Pandora box. Okay. I like your views too, sir. I do like your views too, Daryl. Um, yeah, so I'm not taking away from nobody. Everybody has their own opinion, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just going along with everybody's saying as far as reading their comments and then, giving some feedback off of what they say. But yeah, like I said, some people can't handle that. And it's not even a handle situation. At that point, you're like, okay, it's done, it's over. And that's how you prefer to leave it and be done with it. So thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. But so yeah, some people will go along and be like, yo, it's a done deal. Our relationship's over. We don't have nothing else to talk about. That's it. If I see you on the street, I might chuck deuces. But other than that, like there's nothing more coming out of that. And that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. So it's 6:30 on the nose. I need to play this commercial over here on YouTube. So give me like 2 seconds. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm gonna be seeing you at the end of the month. Well, if you're gonna be home, because you be gone just as much as I be gone. So but yeah, at the end of the month I'm supposed to be down there. My brother's gonna have training in Georgia, so I'll be there. I'm gonna play this commercial real quick, y'all. Hold on. That's why I be needing my son sometimes because he be helping me out. But he playing his own, he doing his own thing right now. Okay, wait, hold on. Is that it? No, that's it right there.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
Now we're back. Thank you guys for holding. So let me go to Rose Petal's comment. She said, my ex didn't want to be friends with an ex or talk to my ex-husband unless it was about my kids. And that's how most guys feel. I know some females that feel like that too. They be like, yeah, if they ain't talking about the kids, they ain't got nothing to talk about. Okay. I mean, that's their point. That's fine. If you need help, I got you. Oh, I do. I thought I was telling you that the other day. I'm trying to figure out how to do this. And you said an Android. I do have a Samsung tablet, but I was having issues. I was trying to test that out all day since yesterday, trying to get it set up and everything so that I can use that one as a screen. It'll be a bigger screen instead of using my phone. Anyways, we'll talk. But I do need help setting that up. And I got like a microphone boom and everything, but I'm just using my phones right now and jumping back into it with season 2. I've been procrastinating for so long. I said, you know what, forget it. I'm going to just go ahead and jump back into it like I used to do. And then I'll just perfect it as I go. So definitely going to work on that. Insecurity with him, but I see his point. Yeah, I mean, to some degree, it could be insecurity, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, that is a valid point. Like, hey, if we ain't got nothing else to talk about but the kids, and that's all we need to talk about, But then why can't, as parents, y'all have that co-parenting friendship? It still will be a friendship, no matter which way you look at it. So if you're sitting there saying like, oh, we ain't got nothing to talk about but the kids, that's a friendship on the kid level. Y'all being friends for the kids, y'all co-parenting for the kids, y'all doing everything for the kids. And then if you guys choose not to be friends, you choose not to be cordial, then that's it's up to you. That's up to you guys to decide in your relationship, or your friendship. And that's important too. That's like a situation like me. I was cordial. Everything was cordial through the whole time. I'm not going to go into detail, but now at the end, it's like, oh, we can't be friends no more. Okay, cool. I ain't going to cry about it. Like, but yeah, I think it can also be preference. Some people just set it as the boundary. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. It could be. Wait, hold on. Wait. It would have to be that way for me. We are happily apart from each other, but co-parenting. Okay. Exactly. Nothing inappropriate at all. I think that's healthy to me. If you're in the yes, exactly. If you're into bashing, yeah. If you're not into bashing, I try to be friends and co-parent, but he want to be in my business, crossing lines. That's hard too. Then that's them being toxic. Exactly. So we stick to co-parenting with minimal communication. Yeah, yeah, that works too. Yeah. So yeah, so y'all had some good points. And like I said, everybody looked at something a little bit different. Then y'all can also see what the other person is saying as well. As far as co-parenting is, it can be such a beautiful thing, and you're not always going to get along. You're not always going to be on the same page, but at the same time, you can co-parent and be like, okay, this is what we want for our kids. This is what we want for our child. That's what we expect. And then you guys kind of like stay on that grounds of, this is what we set out for our kids to be great. And then you go forward with that, So yeah, it's just about what you're wanting out of the relationship, out of the friendship, out of the co-parenting. And then like, if, somebody is being a little bit too aggressive, or they're wanting more, or they're saying, oh, they don't want to be with you, but they want to know everything you got going on, then that too can be a problem. Like, okay, well, let's just stick with the kids, because now you're trying to figure out why I'm going on a date with, ABC. And that's not what we're talking about, But then those be the same parents that don't want to tell you that they going out with A, B, C, D, E, F, F, Y, G, L, M, N, O, P. They don't want to tell you none of that information, but they expect you to be home with the babies. So, and it's not always like that. Sometimes it's the opposite. I've seen it where guys have the kids And the girl is like, who you going out with? Where you going? Where my baby at? Who's watching them? So I've seen it both ways. I have seen it both ways. And it just depends on how you guys communicate. Like I said, it all goes back to communication. For our kids to be great, very good point. Yeah. So if you're trying to do it, so if you're focusing on, co-parenting to make sure your kids are good no matter what, then you work that out. You work that out within your friendship, within your friendship with that parent, the co-parenting portion of it. And if you could do that, you're stronger than most people that, stick together and it ain't working out. You know what I'm saying? Because then kids see that too. That's a whole nother topic too. We're going to talk about that on another day. Sticking with your mate when it ain't working out. But we're going to talk about that another time because and then having the kids involved, that's a whole nother topic. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Milton. Like I said, you're more than welcome anytime you can jump in, you could jump on there, jump in line or whatever, and be on the panel as well. But because I don't mind people with the comments, but last week we had, I think, Dr. Williams or Dr. Sanderson, Dr. Sanderson. He came in, he had some valid points. I loved his point of view, and then he spoke about personal issues and family and stuff like that. But it was a very good conversation. But he jumped in and he said his piece, and then he got back off. But yeah, I like the fact that you could sit there and communicate. Mr. Babu, hello. Thank you for trying to invite me to your live. As you can see, I'm live and I'm not doing battles or anything right now. We're talking about relationships. And this week's topic is friends and exes. So you're more than welcome to comment inside here. I appreciate that. But as far as letting you in the box, I know you probably want to talk about something totally different or you want to battle, and I'm not doing either right now. So, but yeah, I do want to say I appreciate you guys for swinging through again, yet another week. As we go forward, we'll be either going from StreamYard, or if we're going to do it on TikTok, that's fine too. But I want to be able to have designated guests that are going to come every week. And it's not going to be the same people every week. Like I said, as far as our counselors, I'll let my counselors know right before, like, oh, nobody hit me up and said they wanted to be on there. So they don't have to come on here and it's just me and the counselor talking. So, and I want to keep it a little jazzy too, because I know plenty of comedians. So if I have people coming on here and they talking on a funny matter, most comedians like myself, when I do stand up, my stand up is about my life. So if I'm telling a joke about something, it's probably a serious joke, if you catch that. But so that's why I want to do like combos and comedy, so people can sit there and feel comfortable talking about their life and what they got going on and not have to feel like, oh, I really don't want to talk about this in front of everybody. And all I ask is people don't sit there and say like your ex who you're talking about. You don't say their name because it's going to be on several different platforms. And I don't want somebody to feel uncomfortable like, oh, you online talking about me. No, sir, they weren't. They said Peter Piper picked a pepper and you're not none of that. So I always want people to feel comfortable, especially when they're working with me or working around me, or we're doing something collaborating, and just to know that it's going to be on multiple platforms, so it can be seen everywhere. But I want to make sure we don't include nobody's name, so that they can say their piece, and they might want to come on there to follow, and we be like, let me say my part, because I didn't get a chance to say. I'm like, oh, we're not doing battles. This is not verses. So we are here just talking and having a good conversation. And like I said, I appreciate y'all coming through yet another week. And we're going to be back here next week, too. Next Saturday at 6 p.m., we're going to be back here talking about relationships again. I meant to post last week and tell y'all that this week is going to be about friends and exes. I didn't post that, but I will post the topic for next week immediately after this, along with a couple of TikToks. Y'all know I'll be on my TikToks. But I appreciate y'all coming through. It's not quite 7 o'clock, but I want to see if y'all have anything else y'all want to include. Anything else y'all wanted to talk about as far as being friends and being exes, and how you guys feel about that before I wrap it up? Because mainly the lady was coming through, and Milton definitely held it down as usual. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate when I have, I forgot the other guy's name. I think his name was Daryl. I appreciate his opinion as well, coming on here and giving his point of view. So Law Lewis swung through earlier, said, hey, I appreciate that. But yeah, I wanted to tell everybody thank you, because I love when I have people come, what's going on, Tank? Before we go, because I was saying, like, I do have comedian friends, and that's one of my comedian friends. Make sure y'all go add comedian Tank. Because he's a hoot. And we're talking about friends and exes. And so every week, 6 to 7 on Saturdays, I will be having a show talking about relationships. So thank you for joining us, Goddess. And so next week we'll be talking about relationships again. But before I go, Tank, how do you feel about being friends with your exes? And how do you go about introducing them? You could jump in the box and talk about it because I still have a few more minutes before I close out. But yeah, I want to get your opinion on how do you feel about being friends with your exes, and like, do you immediately introduce them to your new boo, or do you wait for a while, or because you're still friends with them? How do you handle that? I want to know your opinion, Comedian Tank, if he's still on here. Thank you. I appreciate it. And why would you want to be still different? Why would you want to be? There's different reasons. That's why you must have came. No, you was out here earlier. Yeah, there's different reasons. People are friends with their exes because they have kids. People are friends with their exes because they've known their family for 20 plus years. People are friends with their exes because they really wasn't a match to be in a relationship, and they felt like they should just be friends, and they stayed friends, and just like, okay, we're going to stop the relationship portion of it. So there's different reasons. It just depends on why y'all broke up, how y'all broke up, saying all those things matter. So I think that's basically why you would still be a friend with somebody after you broke up. There's different reasons for it though. Everybody has their own ways of handling things. I know my sisters, they be like, girl, you crazy. I would not be, I'm not talking to that person no more. I'm like, I have no problem with it. I'm gonna see that they ain't paying my bills and they ain't taking away from them. So I'm cool just to be like, hey, what's up? People up front, I'm friends with the next. Okay, that was quick and to the point. Thought you was gonna come up here and say it, but that's cool too. We might not be friends, maybe just associates, as long as we're both okay. As long as we're both mature, absolutely. That's a good point to make too. That's a good point to make because you could, like I said, it's not like, that's my best friend. He holding it down. Nah, not at all. It's like, we just cool. We cool, and everybody's being respectful. So yeah, absolutely right, absolutely. Well, I appreciate y'all. Like I said, I'm about to get off of here. I'm gonna do a little bit of editing so I can go ahead and make sure it looks right on YouTube. It's gonna post automatically to Facebook, and that's fine. It's gonna get what they get. Milt, I'll be hitting you up so you can help me streamline this stuff because I want to make it look pretty. You and Officer Bates and a couple other people, y'all be doing y'all lives, and I'll be looking like it looks so pretty. But my backdrop will be in this Saturday coming up. It'll be here. It was a mix-up last week, and then they reimbursed me, and then they sent me a new one. So now I'm gonna get that, and so I'll have the backdrop. I'm actually gonna make one of my rooms a podcasting room. So I'm working on that. I have my microphone and everything ready. So yeah, I want to make this relationship thing go the rest of the year and bring it into the next year, but it's going to be good. And I'll post and let y'all know what next week's topic is going to be about. So thank you once again. I know I said thank you like 1,000 times already, but thank you so much. I appreciate you all for being here. I'm gonna play the commercial again one more time on the StreamYard, but I appreciate y'all, and Boss Lady Star out. Peace. My arm be popping up like that.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.